Good morning. It's Recovery Mom. And let's talk about this for a minute. First of all, it is very early, and I've talked about this before. I have myasthenia gravis, and it affects my eyes. And so it makes my eyelids droop, and it makes me look very tired. And people often tell me I'm tired, especially early in the morning. So I'm just prefacing with that because last time I started looking really tired in some of my videos, I was getting constant comments. Are you okay? You look so tired. I have myasthenia gravis. That's why. I'm not tired. I look tired. So anyway, let's talk about if this human has binge eating disorder. So this human said they've eaten thousands and thousands of calories. I am physically stuffed. My mind still wants food. Then they want to know if they're developing binge eating disorder and they think they're at their set point or in overshoot. So let's talk about that. First of all, I don't know where you're at in your recovery. But what I will tell you is what happened for me. And now let's just tackle if I think you have binge eating disorder. Personally, I don't. Now, somewhere around 3 to 5% of humans that have anorexia can move into binge eating disorder. They do have the propensity for both of those. It's very, very, very small. One of the things you can do is look at your genetic relatives and see if that runs in your family. Now, if you have genetic relatives that do have binge eating disorder or that do live in very, very large bodies that don't seem to have set points, then that might be an issue you have to think about. But if not, no. And I don't think that's an issue for you. I think what's happening is that your body just hasn't recovered yet. So what happened for me personally is that once I reached my set point, I still had what you have right now, which is this insatiable mental hunger. And that's because your body hasn't caught up yet, or your brain hasn't caught up yet. So your body is at its set point, but your brain is still like, we could go into energy deficit at any moment. Is the famine over? I don't know if I can trust it. For me personally, I had to live at my set point for months before it settled. And so give it time. You still have to eat to that mental hunger. And what will happen is it will slowly slow down. But the fact that you still have all this mental hunger tells me that your body's not ready to let go of that genetic component of the eating disorder. So you still need to feed to that mental hunger, because what happens if you don't? So if you don't eat to that mental hunger right now, then your brain is just going to go, see, I knew it. See, I knew it. We are still in a scarcity mindset. We're still in a famine environment. I knew it. And then it's still going to keep the eating disorder alive in your brain. That fight or flight eating disorder that's telling you it's wrong to eat, bad to gain, is going to stay alive. The only way to get rid of that is to continue what you're doing and keep eating those calories. And I know it's hard because when we eat all that food, especially in the beginning, but when you're pushing your stomach and your stomach can't take any more, but your brain still wants more food, it's your job to do the best you can do to satisfy that mental hunger, because if you don't, your brain will still think it's in a famine. So you really have to do your best right now to keep going. And I'm trying to think how it was for me. So after I reached my set point, I still had to go, probably like 4 months before my mental hunger and my physical hunger really started to normalize. And then it didn't just like click overnight. I would like have this kind of what I felt was normal hunger for a couple days, and then I would have extreme hunger again. Then I would get normal hunger again, and then I would have these bouts of extreme hunger. The important thing is that A, you always give in to the extreme hunger, and B, you always have a maintenance baseline that you never go below. Because sometimes what happens at this point is you'll still have this huge hunger, but some days you'll have no hunger. And you'll want to be, and your brain will be like, but we ate so much when we had extreme hunger yesterday. Maybe this is my body's way of telling me I don't need to eat today. I don't need as many calories today. But you do. You still need that baseline amount of recovery calories, that baseline amount of feeding, never going 3 hours without food, even during this time, okay? So if you follow those 2 rules, eat to that mental hunger, and then on those days you don't have it, eating to that baseline amount of recovery calories or meal plan or meals, whatever you are doing in your recovery. And it sounds like you're doing great. That will lead you out of this phase and normalize your hunger cues, okay? And it does take a long time. A lot of people are like, oh, I reached this magical number, this magical set point, this magical BMI, and now my hunger cue should be normalized. Well, that's not how it works. How it works is that your brain has to feel safe enough to drop that genetic component of the eating disorder. So you could be at your set point or an overshoot, but if you're still restricting, your brain is not going to let go of that, right? So follow those 2 rules and you'll be let out. And this sun is killing me. I gotta go in. You can do it. Not many people are gonna hang out this far into the video, but if you did, you're like me and you're consuming every little bit of recovery content you can because you assume something's going to click, something's going to hit, something's going to stay. I used to lay in bed at night and put recovery content, especially the Tabitha Farrar-Shan Geisinger podcast that they did together. They did 2 of them together. I would listen to that on loop in my ears as I slept. If you stuck around this far in the video, you got this. You can do this. You are strong. Stronger than your eating disorder.